Hello everyone, it's RedCalico. 2021 has been a great year for anime with Shaman King getting a reboot, Evangelion making a comeback, and The Promised Neverland releasing a season 2. Oh right, there is no TPN season 2 in Ba Sing Se. But one of the greatest anime of this year doesn't have incredible sakuga, nor does it have a huge community rooting for its release. I'm talking about Odd Taxi, the anime about a mundane taxi driver and his patrons who are all somehow involved in the case of a missing girl. From surface level, this anime doesn't seem like much, but this anime uses its characters to their fullest potential and it leaves no detail unexplained. Everything is important and every piece of dialogue contributes to the storytelling. I could spend the whole video explaining how great the show is and cover its plot, but I want to focus on a specific episode. I'll be focusing on episode 4, Tanaka's Revolution. This episode was pretty arbitrary in that it focuses on the backstory of a completely different character in the middle of an important plot. This is what we're meant to believe, but of course, this is Odd Taxi and every character's significance is revealed later on. Tanaka Kakume is a boy who distinctly remembers his third grade teacher enforcing strict rules in the classroom to promote equality among the students. The teacher wanted to eliminate the wealth gap between the students, and thus the students were forced to wear uniforms and not bring any expensive items to school. However, this did not apply to stationery, so the students began to establish a hierarchy based on the types of erasers they brought. Tanaka began competing with Sato, a rich student that would bring exotic erasers. Tanaka did not feel threatened due to his very rare dodo eraser. However, as time went on, Tanaka feels the need to outdo Sato and finds an extremely rare Donraku Shofute eraser listed on an auction online. After some back and forth, Tanaka finally wins the bid at $1,000, only for the eraser to never arrive. Tanaka was scammed. Not only was Tanaka beaten by his father for secretly using his credit card, but his classmates soon lost interest in erasers. Tanaka realizes that he has no one but himself to blame. Back to the present, Tanaka is now a grown adult working at a firm that produces free games for phones. Tanaka quickly becomes obsessed with Zuden, a game where you collect rare zoo animals, and of course, Tanaka's ultimate goal is to obtain the ultra-rare dodo bird. 4 years of playing Zuden pass, and Tanaka finally achieves this goal and unlocks the dodo bird. However, he is walking on the street one day and a taxi nearly runs Tanaka over, causing him to drop his phone into a puddle. He loses his dodo bird on Zuden and is left with nothing but rage. Obviously, every being has worth regardless of their usefulness to society or wealth, but Odd Taxi gives us the hard truth that many people like Tanaka struggle when the education system and peers equate self-value to usefulness. So, despite people saying that everybody has worth, the fact that certain occupations benefit the public welfare more or that money enables people to do certain things make this claim nearly worthless in society. This is why Tanaka is never able to fully accept that he has inherent value and seeks other distractions to give himself worth. But when the sole thing, Zuden, that gives Tanaka a fleeting sense of happiness and self-worth disappears, Tanaka is left with his own thoughts, the degrading thoughts that lead to nothing else but anger. This leads us to our next topic, the ambiguity of anger. Tanaka explains that as a child, he could only blame himself for the scam auction, and he could only blame himself for falling victim to the pressures of social hierarchy. However, what happens when you continue to blame yourself without ever trying to alter your idea of self-worth and trying to actively better your mindset? This episode shows us that the anger never dissipates if you are constantly trapped in the mindset that you have no self-worth. The anger only escalates if you distract yourself from the origin of that emotion with games such as Zuden. And when Tanaka reaches his limit and that initial rage from his childhood is unearthed, that ambiguous anger can be directed at anything and anyone. This is exactly what happens to Tanaka. He's blamed himself for so long without ever finding an answer to relieving his anger. So he redirects that anger towards everyone else, society, his peers, his teachers. Tanaka's revolution is one of the most intriguing episodes, and it shows us the result of society pushing an individual to a point of no return. Tanaka never learned the value of inherent self-worth, and his distractions hide his anger about himself and the world that made him feel this way. The show has so many more moments like this where they talk about an important message about our world and human beings. During a time when we feel so isolated, ODDTAXI shows us that we are much more connected than we assume. Of course, in ODDTAXI, everybody is connected in a literal sense, but the ideas presented in the show portray that the emotions we feel, the insecurities we feel, and the loneliness we feel is within everyone. The show is extremely well written, and it does so much with dialogue and its characters. Please go check this out if you haven't already. It's available on Crunchyroll, and as always, until next time. 何が見える何が響いてる